Hey guys, hey everyone, how you doing? I was gonna get to that point where I hadn't made a video in a little while, and it was gonna get to the point where it kind of got away from me. Hope everyone had a great holiday season. It's my first recording of the new year. We lost a great one in our community, really great guy, right before the holidays. And that kind of knocked the wind out of me. I'm talking about someone a lot of you knew as Kirby. I knew as Kevin Kleinhaus. Just a great guy. I really have been committing myself to reading more of my books this year in remembrance of him, because he did reviews on just any comic he picked up, whether it be a single floppy issue or like a big story arc. Yeah, he was a great artist. I discovered his channel Under the Kell of MS a couple years ago, and I knew I found like a kindred brother, just a great guy from Wisconsin. I never knew anyone from Wisconsin, and just really great voice. I loved his podcast. I wouldn't always watch it, but I'd have it in my shirt pocket when I was driving at night, getting paid. But yeah, he'd be in my ear, and just through the little speaker on my phone, I'd be listening to him. Rest in peace, my friend. I was speechless. I hadn't seen a lot of his content lately because he'd been doing a lot of sales, and I don't generally participate in auctions too much, but I should have gone on just to say hi and stuff like that. But he became real good friends with a lot of you. I know he really liked Iggy Pop. He really liked Iggy Pop. I mean, he'd quote Iggy, and he became great friends with Gunner, and a lot of you knew him. So yeah, rest in peace to him. Cool guy. So yeah, we're just kind of thawing out over here. I had my first night off since just after the new year. We had a nice steak dinner, real nice. We actually drove around, went to a couple places. It was cool. I guess everyone's kind of getting like their tax paperwork and stuff, so I thought it's a great time to slow down a little bit, look at some books. I got something from Davis Comic Finds. He told me not to worry about doing a video, but I'll save this to the end, so it will be included. And this is from New Jersey, so it's the thing that Davis was talking about. So yeah, I've been doing just what little reading I can do. I had a couple of relatives in my my immediate family pass away. I lost an uncle, my dad's sister's husband, and my second cousin's husband, going to pay our respects on next Tuesday. So yeah, it's been tough. Both of those men were in their 80s, and I always worry about the older crowd. Like in August seems to be really hard on them, but this time around it was the cold season, so you just never know. This is something I got in the mail. I had been risking it again. I've been buying my books from those used online bookstores, and you never know what you're gonna get. Like sometimes you'll get like a library copy that has just been through the system. It's been in backpacks. It's been in duffel bags. It's been in gym lockers. It's just been through the works, and you're just bummed. And other times you'll get a book that's just been gently read once, put on a shelf, and then you get it secondhand. So that's the variance. But it's irresistible because this book I bought at a used bookstore. It needed a little repair. I had to kind of rebind it. No stickers, no highlighter, nothing cut out. In fact, this book actually came with a really cool, like, licensed Sin City Dwight McCarthy bookmarker, the Big Fat Kill. But anyway, this is a book I've been working on. I can't lose my page. I'm only on page 55, but I worked hard to get to that page 55. This is Oja. This is Sam Keith with some assistance from Alex Pardee and Chris Wisnia. And this is a slightly smaller edition. I don't know. I believe the single issues are full size, and they might have been in color, but I don't think they were, because this is straight up black and white. It's about a little girl who has bad luck. This isn't going to be like a review by any means. I'm only on page 55, but this girl named Annie, she's being raised by her grandpa. She just lost her mom. Her sister is quite mean to her. Her sister is a couple of years older. And her grandpa is like an architect or some kind of a graphics design artist, a drafter. But she has really bad luck with pets. She accidentally she gets a really cool green iguana, but instead of getting it in a terrarium with a light and glass, she puts it in an old guinea pig cage. And like the first frost, the poor little Iggy G is just frozen solid. Like right there, you see a little iguana sickle. And then she gets a guinea pig, and she leaves it under a board, like a board on an angle, which tilts until it rolls down and gets the little guinea pig. So it's really sad. Until finally, her grandpa makes her this special bed so she could have her own room away from her sister. And this little creature that was inside of the driftwood that he constructed the bed out of emerges, and it's this really interesting kind of tentacled. It almost looks like it has like slug appendages, but kind of octopus-like too. And it turns out that her grandfather got the wood by this old pipe, and this pipe actually has Oja, as she comes to name its mother. And the only way that she can make Oja happy is by feeding the mom, which has this effect that actually makes Oja purr. I think my brother said that word means eyeball, but it's actually the mother is actually quite gruesome. But I'm only on page 55. I'm really liking it. This is more like the Sam Keith that did what's that story called? Something Girl. But it's kind of like Friends of Max. It's not really like his Marvel Comics Presents or Lobo stuff. It's kind of just these characters, these kind of fragile characters coexisting. This is a book I read right after Christmas. We kind of have a tradition. My brother gets me the new Wimpy Kid book. Right around the holidays, these drop. I read right through this one. It's book 20, and this one's great. Just Greg Heffley. He's got a birthday coming up, which his mom actually forgets, but he he thinks that he is going to pop out at his own surprise party, as he knows his mom's going to the church. What he thinks is under the ruse of bake sale, but it actually turns out that she forgot. She actually was there for a bake sale. But he uses the leverage that comes from the word getting out that a mom had forgot her son's birthday to get his family to throw him like a big birthday party, because he wants to get this. They have this kind of game that's sort of the equivalent of a Pokemon. But he wants to get this error card called the Three-Eyed Feeble. So he needs packs of these cards to try to pull this one-of-a-kind card. And so he's kind of manipulated the situation. He's telling everyone to get in these packs of cards, and it's a pretty good one. I can't help but laugh at these. I love cartoons. I love cartooning, and this one brought it. Cool birthday party story. Yeah, they're for kids, but a good laugh's a good laugh. I've had a kind of a substantial amount of stuff pile up. When you tell yourself that you're going to be reading, you suddenly feel very justified in stockpiling books, even though your list is kind of growing. I got 2 of these because Flesk Publications handles the Bruce Timm stuff. And this is a Monsters book. This isn't even like his usual like good girl art per se. This is like him doing almost like Universal Monsters. And they're all Bruce Timm renderings, and a lot of it is going to be in media that you don't typically see him work in. That's a little print that each one of these comes with. But he does a lot of like stippling, cross-hatching. You get to see him like draw a lot of stuff that isn't like the typical, Batman the Animated Series type beauties. And he just shows an amazing range in this. And this would be like a wonderful book to get someone. This is a remarkable stippling page. So I didn't know what to expect from this, but I knew for $35 I had to get it. Just because these books can really get away from you. And there's just so much celebration of like Creepy Magazine, Creep Show stuff. I've been watching that Creep Show program with my brother. Anyway, I'm not going to show too much of it because you get the idea. But it's a great book. I'd recommend it. It's $35. You still get a lot of the beautiful ladies that he's kind of made his other books surrounding. But you get like just, what is that, Dorian Gray? You get like this cool stuff. And it's a nice hardcover edition. I believe the softcover's $25, but for an extra tenner, I don't know, I'd say you got Bela Lugosi. I'd say get the hardcover just for the endurance that it has. So yeah, that actually I could sit down and read on a rainy day. There's probably enough text in there to fill 2 hours or so. Sometimes setting aside 2 hours to enjoy a book, you're just kind of grateful to get it, I was on this great program where I was going to sleep as soon as I got home, and I was getting up at 8, and that was giving me like 2 hours to read before work, and it was great until it just got so darn cold that I didn't want to get up. Not a lot of rain, just cold. To me anyway. So this is a book by Stephen King's son, Joe Hill, and pardon the tank top. I was gonna get a sleeve shirt, but I just knew if I did that, I wasn't gonna get to this video. But this is anthology horror, that old show, Tales from the Dark Side, anthology horror. This is some stories that Joe Hill was doing. He was trying to relaunch this show. And for whatever reason, it didn't go through, but he wanted to publish his stories regardless. And there's 3 different stories in here, and they're all told with that Tales from the Dark Side sensibility. Anthology horror, just one of my favorite kind of tales of comeuppance. A lot of body horror, just a lot of jerks getting their what they's got coming to them. So yeah, I'll just work through some stuff. I don't think this is the new Savage Dragon, but I keep buying the same one over again. My LCS got a new owner, and the first time we went there, this guy just kind of strutted in there like he owned the place, which I guess he does. But just right off the right off the bat, got off on the wrong foot with this guy. I think we kind of scared him too. He was quite afraid of us because I guess we took his parking spot because we didn't know that he was going to come slinging in. But yeah, kind of stormed out of there. Like, not to make a scene, but they were starting this whole new way of doing your pull list, where you had to go on this website and this, that, and the other. And ultimately, I said goodbye to Funky. I said, man, we're out. This guy's a deal hole. Let him keep his comics. I'll get them somewhere else. So it wasn't like the grand exit, but it was kind of a we ain't going back type scenario. And it's a real shame because I've been with that shop for 13 years. And like I said, it wasn't a real ugly scene. It was just the writing was on the wall, and I'd had it right off the bat. Comics aren't worth that. It's all about respect. So these would have been a real hole in my Sam Keith, Callie Jones collecting. I'm not a real big Aliens guy. I do like what I've seen of some of the recent movies. Obviously the stuff with the Predator is really fun. But these are actually trades of, and I don't know exactly what order these come in, but Kelly Jones did 2 miniseries for Aliens with Dark Horse in the 90s. And he just really brings it with his style. These are written by Jerry Proser. This cover cracked me up with his dog. But this was right around the time when Callie Jones had just gotten off of Dead Man, and his style is really visceral and deep, dark shadows. And he was a little sincerely concerned with how he was going to draw these aliens, because he's not really one for rendering robotechnics. He's a very organic artist, and these xenomorphs are very intricate with their designs. But they just assured him just draw them as like a hulking mass and obscure them. Just we want the emotion, not the mechanics. Don't worry about making these creatures look like they're like operating systems, whatever these things are. So he pulled it off, and I always knew he nailed it on this. He killed it. But I always had my reservations about, but it's aliens. I'll get to it. And I finally did. So this first one, like I said, I don't know if Hives came first or if this next one did. I know he did 2 of them, though. This other one is called Harvest. This was Hives. This one is not a wraparound cover, unfortunately. It's also written by Proser. That's the cover. And just jump right into some cool art right off the bat. Nice semi-gloss pages. It's the good paper that won't stick to your fingers if you read it on a humid summer's day. Ooh, it's getting a little chilly. It's refreshing though. It's been about 88 the last couple of days. So yeah, science fiction and sophisticated horror. through the hands of Kelly Jones' storytelling. So really, just long overdue. You can only put it off so long. If you collect these kinds of artists, in spite of your own collecting tendencies, eventually you'll get to this stuff. And I just didn't want to. I don't want to pay a premium, so I was just kind of keeping an eye on copies. And as it is, when you keep an eye on comics, they start sending you offers. You can't even look at something without eBay kind of massaging the deal. And so I'll send offers and I'll send counters. And if it goes back and forth more than 2 times, I usually just decline and walk away. But if they send an offer and they accept my counter, that usually closes the deal. Sometimes it'll automatically pay. And great, you checked your phone and you purchased it. And other times, you'll have to complete the purchase yourself, so you still have the option to walk away. Now, this is Female War, and this is something that I had a little controversy over. This is something that came out when the 4th Aliens movie came out. The one where I think Winona Ryder is in it as a clone. It's after the David Fincher, and it's by the French director of Amélie. But this is a newly colored and aligned with the 20th Century Fox continuity. So this book is slightly tweaked from what originally came out for Female War. But I have to confess, I do kind of like recolorings of like some of this older stuff. Just some of the color separations that they were getting around to in the 90s, I quite like. And I'm sure if I find the original edition, I would especially like to get it just to know how the story is different. But it's funny, I'm not really coming across a lot of aliens. But anyway, let's find a good Sam Keith drawing, a xenomorph page. This looked good to me. I guess, like I said, maybe a lot of people don't particularly care for the altered editions, but I don't know any difference. So I had no room to be a purist on it. So that one was Female Wars, and this one is called The Inhuman Condition, and this was actually a miniseries. This was put out through Dark Horse Comics Presents Volume 2, like in monthly installments. Human Condition, little trade paperback. Really, very much Sam Keith's 2000 stuff. Very soft and just beautiful artwork. You could tell, like, he does really good with this format, like he did with Marvel Comics Presents drawing Wolverine. Like, drawing 6 pages a month is really his theme. But again, not a lot of xenomorphs in here, so very psychological. They're not going to have the aliens in your face left and right. So it's just as much like The Walking Dead is about the human interactions. It's very much just that kind of thing. But they do attack. They're in the book. They're just not in your face. Anyway, now it's just like some floppies, some loose odds and ends, maybe some trades, and then I'll get to some stuff that I ordered and some stuff that Davis sent. So let's just see what we got here. A lot of this is also kind of trades for my brother. Here's a nice Dead at 17 book with Janie Bell on the cover. This is signed by Josh Howard, one of my favorite of these kind of indie artists. This is all Josh Howard. This was Mendoza. This is Howard. They're both signed by Howard, though. Can't quite lie. Finally, I got a cheap copy. Shout out to PGH Zombie, my man Josh. He got this book a long time ago, and I finally found one. I think I was at about $5 on this book for the longest time. Tommy Monahan, just a great character of Hitman. Let me see. What do I want to show? I came across these books really nice and cheap, so I got them. It's just some Archie, Katie Keene stuff. I don't have much of this incarnation of Archie, but I do know people like the Katie Keene character. I thought I'd see why. Pretty nice looking covers. Some great looking stuff all around. Issue 4. Here's another Mendoza. This is Pink Power. I like that this was Dan's older style. He doesn't really draw like this that much anymore. But this might still be computer generated art like he does digitally. But I always get really excited when his stuff looks like it's hand drawn. But I got into this this George Jimenez Batman book. I haven't really read any DC in a long time, but this art and this kind of style, that DC Bulletin logo, and just this guy's style of drawing Batman, really sparked with me. So I forget where he's from. I don't think he's Brazilian. I mean, he might be. Kind of forgot where he's from. This is a cheap trade. Eventually you start to run out of like the golden era of Neil Gaiman stories. You know, you could read Black Orchid. You could read Arkham Asylum. No, sorry. Arkham Asylum is Grant Morrison. You know what I mean, though? That early 90s, that really special Neil Gaiman art. Art, yeah, but the art of storytelling. And this one right here was one I don't see too often, the Books of Magic. Gold embossed cover. But they continued the story without Gaiman. I remember reading that as a kid and thinking it was pretty good, but I could just tell that it wasn't the Gaiman level of quality. So pick that up. You know, like I said, $5 trade, used bookstore. You roll the dice, sometimes you do all right. So these are from my brother. My brother, he's really been enjoying himself some Mike Allred. Ooh. And I fully support him in that. I love Mike Allred. Unfortunately, like, sometimes I don't get that excited about his Madman stuff. But in the case of this, I thought this works. And of course, that is Mike Allred and Don Slott on Ghost. What am I saying? Ghost Rider. Mike Allred on Ghost Rider would be tight, but this is Silver Surfer. And this is the trades of his collaboration with Don Slott. And it ran 5 trades. Seller sent these in Mylar. We haggled for a while, and I walked away for a while. And for whatever reason, he re-spark the possibility of us coming together on a mutually amicable deal on this, because, you know, even for my brother's casual reading, I'm just kind of holding on to him because I've already given him a lot of stuff to read lately. But he got the trade, what is it? Not Mark Miller. It's that artist that worked with Allred on Ecstatic. But yeah, my bro's working on the Dead Girl. Milgram? Anyway, here's the second trade. And these just look like a lot of fun. He used to... I know Don Slott mostly as like a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of writer, but anyway. So that's really kind of cool looking. Here's book 4, Citizen of Earth. Yeah, so I could tell that these meant something to the seller. He had them in Mylar, but, you know, didn't want to go too nuts on them. Because there is like an omnibus you can buy of just all this stuff. But I find my bro doesn't particularly like to read the omnibus stuff. It's just too much book, you know? Anyway, speaking of omnibus, this is a small version of one of those, but it's Hack Slash. I have this fondness for Cassie Hack. I don't know if it's the pleated skirt or the high socks or the fact that she is kind of like this final girl. She has kind of like this hero armor being a last girl. They sort of take that that element of horror slasher storytelling and they sort of make this girl like the one who's going to take on these boogeymen because she's beat them before. So that premise is just really cool. I've been watching this channel with this dude. He mostly like shares like scary movie home media, but he's called The Comet Castle, and he did some work on talking about this. Cassie Hack meets Chucky. So this was a cheap omnibus. They probably made a lot of these, but it's when I got it, I gotta probably repair that. But I'll do it now. I got a little jot. Shout out to the jots. The thing is, when I got this, I really thought it was going to be black and white because it's like a cheap trade, a cheap for an omnibus, like 25% of cover price. So yeah, it's $30, and I got it for like 8 shipped. I thought it was going to arrive. I could live with that. I'm sure people don't like that. They think it's better without it, but nothing's more annoying than having a book splitting while you're reading it. But anyway, yeah, that looks cool to me. Anyway, gosh, I need to hydrate today. We went to Book Off, and it was fun. I was flipping through some floppy comics, and it's hard to do the way they have them. So, you know, it's work. But I found a Spawn 9 First Angela for $1. That was my find. I just got that. And, yeah, then we had dinner. It felt good to hunt, though. Even if you only catch one thing, it still feels good. More Sam Keith. This was a $5. 5 shipped. How can you go wrong? I mean, it comes to you like in a silver hefty bag, you know, and you gotta like peel it open. You have to like expose it, and it stretches and stretches and stretches, and then it tears, and you know, this book is born, birthed through through the media mail system, but that's Joker, you know, by Sam Key. This one I couldn't believe, because this one people try to get some money for. I think it's because it's a Marvel Knights trade that Arrow and Joe Quesada was the editor-in-chief. I'm sorry, we're going way long. I'm either going to have to edit this down or just shoot it out. But this is Trent Kanuga's work, and this is with someone named Grayson, but this is his ghostwriter. And if you ever see these cheap, I know some people don't like Creed, and I get that. As much as I love Creed, I know it's like kind of a cartoony, graffiti art kind of underground comic, but this is a pretty cool Johnny Blaze. Or it might even be Danny Ketch. I can't remember. I read this 2 years ago, and I loved it, man. I had 5 issues, and the reason I got this, and I really got sick of my loose issues, is I'm sure it's not much better now, but in particular, this era of Marvel Comics, I swear for every page of story, you got 3 pages of ads, and it's just, it gets old, you know. I'm sure it's not much better now, but it just seemed like it was just too much, man. You know, you gotta like fight through all these ads, and it's kind of cool because they're like ads from the early 2000s when the the internet was like a prepubescent, an ornery preteen, but it was just, man, it's like, give me a break. At least like I like the 90s stuff. You know, you have a Columbia Record Club, and you have those cool ads for Skittles bite-sized candy, and even like the 80s Marvel Comics, they have those old skateboard and Huffy ads. But some of these ads, man, just make you cringe. But this is so straight up, man. Like every time I turn the page, I get some great Kanuga artwork, man. It's just, I wish he stuck with this. I wish he did. He got into video game character design, and now he's like an internet digital art teacher. And fair play to him, but I liked his aspirations in comics. This is one other Silver Surfer book. This is Silver Surfer Black, and this is the Donny Cates. I know my boy Davis Comic Finds enjoyed Donny Cates' work on Venom. I haven't read much of the man. It seems to me that people either like him or dislike him or think he's okay. So I guess that's pretty balanced. Either he's great, he's pretty good, or hard pass. But anyway, that's not exactly completely polarizing, so I have no point. Anyway, I was going to save this for last, but in case the video cuts off, let's open up this present from Davis Comic Finds. Thank you, Davis. I got a couple more books for your box, man. Yeah, I sure do. I'll save them for you to show. But yeah, I keep putting stuff aside for you, man. This came from New Jersey. I don't know if New Jersey's been having a cold winter, but I'm guessing they did, man. Oh, dude. This is awesome. Oh, man. All right, so I'll be at work, you know, and it's already like 3 hours later in Tennessee, so like it has to be kind of early, like 6 or 6:30, or I know it's too late, but I was just saying, like, dude, for real, this is cool. So I was like saying, like, God, look at this, Frank Miller's signature, and I need that looks legit. This is a Dame to Kill For, and I just had the bookmark for that too. I have a little bookmark, but so I was saying I need this trade. I love this cover, and it's like, what do you think of that Siggy? What do you think of that signature? And he's like, it looks pretty much like what I'm seeing. Like the comps are pretty much showing me that that's his flourish when he's doing that the FM. And I'm like, that seems, yeah, you're right. It seems like an easy to duplicate Siggy, but it also would be kind of hard to do, especially doing the book. And as more and more, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get it after work. And I don't know, like I saw like some bill needed to be paid, and I didn't go through with it. But Davis, oh man, he got this. Now this is kind of a shrunken down a Dame to Kill For, but yeah, just Frank and his FM. He definitely has a couple ways of doing this, and there was a time this was exactly it. And PGH Zombie just had like a 20-year anniversary. The Dark Knight Returns, like reprint issue signed by Frank, and he submitted it, and he got it like approved after the fact. And he got that certain label that indicates that it wasn't witnessed, but like all but DNA verifies it. And this, yeah, man. God, this is my favorite story. This is the Dwight McCartney story. But yeah, man. I'm on page 55, so I'll keep track of Oja another way. So I'm gonna have to keep this a Dame to Kill For bookmark with. Man, thank you. Dude, it's like sometimes you let the dream go, and it's been reimagined for me. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna upload this video at night because I had no idea he did this, man. And you know that I feel like I can read this. I just have to maybe cover the Siggy up with some post-it marks so it doesn't get chuffed or bumped. No, chuffed is a good thing. Yeah, yes, Kyle. No, chuffed is very good. Thank you, man. That arrived from New Jersey. Thanks, man. Thanks for having the guts to pull the trigger. And I wasn't second guessing you. It just life got in the way. That's almost unbelievable, but now I believe it. Thanks, man. I can't get over it. He got a Siggy of I believe it's a Ryan Stegman cover of a 300 signed by Frank, and that's in my brother's collection. Frank is about 100 or so to meet. And you don't really get to meet him because, you know, it's all done pretty quick. But you can maybe like say, hello, Frank, I love your stuff. Your art meant a lot to me. And that would be the extent of the interaction. But you'd get the signature. But, you know, that's a 5-hour line. No, that's a con. You go to a con, you meet Frank. You meet guys like Frank, McFarlane, I'm sure. And maybe Jim Lee. I don't think Jim Lee's quite an all-day line, but those guys, Frank and Frank Miller, Guys like John Romita Jr. you could almost walk right up to, but those guys, yeah, you almost have to like submit stuff to an organized signing, and at that rate you don't meet them anyway. So anyway, long story short, thanks, man. Got a great sense of kindness about you, and that really made me laugh. And I needed that. That was funny. I'm so glad you did that. Anyway, let's just open up a couple little things I ordered in the mail. I don't know what they are, but sure, it's gonna be the weekend. I could put out a 1 hour video. Like, go for the glory, Huck. Anyway, I don't know what these are, truth be told. So these are from the Comics Connection. A lot of packaging. Is that a sticker? Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's even got like those nice little panels where you can, it makes it easier to tear because there's you can't see it, but little sections. So Comics Connection, 1988. Another bookmark, to tell you the truth. Oh yeah, I've been kind of into these. Ani Comics has been putting out the EC Comics, and mixed reviews. The anthology horror purists say they're not as good as the old EC Comics, which nothing's going to be as good as pre-code horror. I mean, come on. That's like saying like the remake of an Alfred Hitchcock movie isn't going to be as good as Alfred Hitchcock. It's yeah, I'm sure you're right, but yeah. Oh, this just happens to be a Batman, George Jimenez, that I threw on there. Doesn't that look like some real 90s art? So anyway, now I got 1 through 4. Can read those, and I can kind of feel like I know what's going on with All In Batman. Anyway, these are just cool covers, even if I'm sure I'll like it, because I even like that cartoony EC book that Paper Cuts was putting out in the 2000s. So anyway, these covers are cool. You got a siren on the tail, or a harpy on the tail of a megalodon type beast. Shout out my good friend Pope Grimy. I always thought that the G stood for grimy, but it might stand for graham crackers. Pope graham crackers. It's a cool cover. Some kind of a space kid chasing a real little dragonfly, and some astronaut marveling at it. These are just kind of strange covers, but Cruel Universe. Yeah, I like some Cruel Universe. This is their science title. It's going to be like a weird science. This is Catacomb of Torment. This is the sheer horror. And this one right here actually kind of scares me. This one I might got in a little trouble for, just because it is so horrific. But this sort of reminds me of like those crossed covers. But, Catacomb of Torment. I needed an issue 7. And sometimes like the only other choice is a really cartoony one. So I lean into the, I guess, I don't like them to be too scary. I don't really like stuff that scary. Like, you know, I don't know. I like scary movies and stuff. I don't like them to be too nightmare inducing, if you know what I mean. Maybe a lot of people that are into horror go all the way with it. I mean, I like it a little softer. I saw that movie. My brother told me to see this a year ago, but I finally watched The Substance, and it's been all I could think about for the last 3 nights. What a thing that was. But anyway, so I guess I pick the ones I like to watch. I didn't like scary stuff for the longest time. I couldn't deal with it. I grew up around the Freddy Krueger era, and that dude just scared me. I didn't like that kind of scary. Can't even go to sleep. Give me a break. I can't even go to sleep. When I was a kid, there was a show on late Saturday night, and this is early 90s, late 80s, and I used to love to stay up, especially in the summertime. I'd watch Saturday Night Live, then I'd catch Tales from the Dark Side, and then sometimes I'd watch The Honeymooners would come on real late. And there's a show called Freddy's Nightmares, and I'd get brave enough to watch it, and it would inevitably scare the hell out of me. Couldn't take it. And then I was getting in trouble at school because kids were wearing those Freddy gloves to school, and I couldn't handle it. So I couldn't handle it. He gets you in your sleep. What could be worse than that? Oh shit! Sorry. It's funny, man. Excuse my language. I was almost getting nostalgic for 7-8 years ago, 2017, 2018. People, I would watch a lot of YouTube channels of the comic community was kind of exploding back then. There was so many people just getting started, of which I was one, and I was getting exposed to a lot more stuff, and that was good. And a lot of those people made their videos and resumed their regularly scheduled lives, and settled into their other hobbies: gaming, being dads, being cooks, being gangsters, wearing designer jeans, drinking designer beers, wearing designer jewelry, you name it. But a lot of them stopped making comic videos. And I remember I'd hear this writer's name over and over again, like the buzzing of a fridge. It was just humming in my ears. And that was this guy, Colin Bunn. And I never read any of his stuff. And I just understood he was a good writer. He was kind of like Jeff Lemire, like one of the modern day horror comic virtuosos. So I never read any of it. And I go back and I'm like, what was that book I'd always hear about? Oh yeah, Dark Ark. Is that something to do with like Noah? Like a 2 of every of the monsters taken off the earth? Because obviously the hard rain was going to fall, and we had to take in 2 of all the good animals, but I think the story is 2 of all the bad animals. I don't remember what the premise was. I just heard that name and I sort of wrote the story in my own head. But I looked it up, Dark Ark. Yeah, that book ran in Aftershock Comics, about 15 issues, 5 issues a trade for 3 trades. And a guy had all 3 of them. He had them for $30, free shipping, our best offer. I said, I'll do 5 a trade, just for old time's sake, just to see what it was all about. And I said, okay, 15. and before I could even hit send, he auto accepted, and he cha-ching the 15 out of my life forever. I don't think I'll ever get the 15 back. Probably 17 after tax, but you know, I'll give him a shot. Hopefully it's not so awful that I can't get through it. But I understand this guy Colin Bunn's, you know, for a lot of people are probably saying, like, you don't know Colin Bunn? Colin Bunn is like my guy, you know. You talk about Alan Moore and Neil Gaiman like he's hot stuff, but, you know, Colin Bunn is like Garth Ennis on steroids. So I don't know. It's drawn by a guy named Ryan Hill and David Sharp. I guess they color it, and Wando. Sorry, I almost said John Doe, but it's Wando. That's cool. Yeah, so anyway, volume 3. So, you know, I don't know. They might be good. They might be great. But I'm gonna guess that they're average, because this isn't the one that people go on and on about. The one they go on and on about is The Sixth Gun, or my old friend So Comics. He and his missus, they really liked Harrow County. But I think Harrow County is something I can read from my library, because I'm not gonna go all in with Colin Bunn. You know, he might be cool. I gotta see, like, if my mileage varies on how I receive him. It might be the greatest thing since peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We'll see. Anyway, I'd like to dedicate this video to Under the Cal of MS. Rest in peace, my friend. I miss your content. There's a lot of stuff of yours I still watch, but hope doing good. I hope your cat Lemmy's doing good, and I hope your missus is doing good. And yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm still watching videos, still watching Fred Hall, still watching Tat, still watching Higgy, PGH. I comment as much as I can, but you know, I really have been trying to read more, and sometimes that means getting off the internet and reading some friggin' comics, like Big Elbow says. But yeah, you guys, just I don't know. It's just crazy, like just seeing people go lately. You know, it's one thing, like when you see like a celebrity you love pass on, but like people you know and relate with, people in your family, it's crazy. But that applies for everyone. Everyone sees it eventually. But yeah, sometimes it hits in streaks. It really does. Anyway, that's going to be an hour-long video, straight up the old-fashioned way. Maybe I'll do some editing when I read, and I'll do some editing with reviews, because, you know, I'll be citing references. Maybe I'll throw up some pictures, a little music, a little song, a little dance. Batman's head on a lance. You know the rhymes. Anyway, broke out the guns. You guys have fun. Hopefully we get an early spring. We're a long ways off. For a lot of you, I know it's still the dead of winter. But I'm going to get me some of this Colin Bunn. See what's up. Dark Arc. Could be good. All right. Goodbye. And Davis. Sneaky. That's Ava. That's the dame to kill for. Thanks, man. Look at that, Miller Siggy. Yeah. I respect you, man. All right. Goodbye. Oh, really, really quick. And this might already be null and void. I don't know. I might dip back down, but I did hit 600 subs for the first time. So that's crazy. Thank you guys. I was in the 500s for 5 years. So no, actually 4, then 5, and 6. 6 was something that took time, and it just kind of eventually happened all at once. So thank you guys. I appreciate that. Very much appreciated. It's cool that people and friends enjoy visiting. Thank you.
I run the show here. You got about 5 guys from Ohio watching your stuff. Another 5 out of 5 here from Motivated. Crunch my nuts and make the tape let it roll. Yeah, I run on the column button box. Yeah, baby.
But she is not leader. You ain't never been a wagooer, only copy. They used to not see me back then. I guess I'm trying to see the